it is. That's the difference.
No. So, what law are you citing, Dan?
Campaign finance laws. You're not allowed to give the...
You don't know what you're talking
about.
What are you talking? You're wrong.
Explain to me.
Let me explain to you.
Tell me what I'm getting wrong.
All right, guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome to another video. As you can see here in the title, the thumbnail of the video, we're going to be talking about Donald Trump's conviction. And it looks like, from what I've seen so far, that his conviction could possibly be overturned, especially if it makes it all the way to the Supreme Court. And the reason is that the Supreme Court has already presided over a case, the same type of case, where they ruled that these types of finance contributions or campaign finance laws don't apply to the law that Donald Trump broke. So we're gonna watch this clip of Megyn Kelly and Dan Abrams go at it, and she tried to explain to him why he's wrong. And then also we're gonna watch a second clip that's gonna elaborate even further on those cases from the Supreme Court that could possibly allow Donald Trump's case to be overturned. So this is very interesting. And you're gonna notice here, before we get into this clip, that people like Dan and some of these people that are, for the conviction are mostly coming from the perspective of morality. And you're gonna notice that here. He doesn't really cite any laws that Trump broke, but he's gonna just keep pointing at the fact that, oh, it's morally wrong, it's morally wrong, morally wrong. Well, there's nothing illegal about being immoral. But anyway, let's watch this clip, and then we're gonna go to the second one, which is the most important one. So you wanna stay until the end, because it's gonna break down why I believe that this conviction could be overturned. So let's get right into it.
When you're spending $130,000,
I'll explain.
Go ahead.
I get it, because you're saying that they're illicit, and it was not a valid claim, not from the start.
But again, you're separating out almost the moral from the legal. I mean, Cuomo was making a moral point, I think, to some degree, which is that there's wrongdoing here, right? There was definitely wrongdoing. Whether it should have been a crime is a separate... What's the wrongdoing? What's the wrongdoing? All right, number one, it's paying $130,000 to a porn star to keep her quiet. That's to try to protect your campaign. Can we at least agree that's wrong?
That's not illegal. It's not illegal.
I didn't say it was... No, I just said moral versus legal.
Wrong? Are we talking moral?
I made it clear. I'm making it clear. For a minute, I'm talking about morality versus legality, right? There's no doubt that he engaged in...
All right, I'll tell... Here's my response to that, and I said this on my show the other day. I don't know what kind of weird marriage these two have. Same as I didn't know what kind of weird marriage Bill and Hillary Clinton had. Facts. So I don't know what their covenant is in terms of what he's allowed to do on the outside of his marriage.
Again, I don't mind the sex, but when you're paying $100,000, but I'm not talking about the sex. I'm talking about the $130,000 to keep her quiet to protect his campaign.
Immoral? There's nothing wrong with that at all. Nothing.
Really? Okay. Look, again,
if somebody runs for office, they just lose the right to have any privacy. They just have to let us see all of their dirty laundry from the moment they declare forward, or somehow they've done something morally wrong or legally wrong.
When you're doing it to protect the campaign and you are spending money on it, then now I'm going to switch back to the legal. You are now crossing the line into legal problems. Right?
You aren't. That's absolutely not right. Incorrect at every level.
Again, the idea that let me back up. And you don't think he falsified business records either?
I don't know what he did. I don't think he wrote down.
What does that mean? We just had a whole trial. We heard every detail of this. How can you not know?
Let me answer.
Please.
Let me answer. I don't think he wrote down hush money payment to Stormy Daniels. Nobody who pays hush money would write down such a thing. I think he wrote down, or someone at the Trump organization wrote down, legal expenses from the drop-down Adobe menu. And that made as much sense as anything else, because hush money wasn't an option. He was paying his lawyer who had made the payment to Stormy Daniels, and he was, I believe, reimbursing her, though he denied that, reimbursing him, though he denied that on the stand. I don't think there's anything wrong with doing that. I think you pay your lawyer money because he outlaid money for you. You could easily classify that as a legal expense.
No matter what it's for, right? Even if it's illegal conduct, you can just put it's an illegal expense.
What's the illegal conduct?
This wasn't illegal. There's nothing illegal about paying hush money for an NDA. It's done
There's not.
all the time.
But when you're doing it to protect your campaign, it is. That's the difference.
No. So,
Yeah.
What law are you citing, Dan?
Campaign finance laws. You're not allowed to give
Wrong.
the...
You don't know what you're talking
Which
about.
one? See, this is the interesting part about it, is that they always say a broad argument of what the crime was. Campaign finance laws. What else did they say? White collar finance laws. Cooking the books. What is the actual crime? Campaign finance laws. Okay, what law within those laws, in the campaign finance laws, did he break? That's fine. Oh, he broke financial laws. Which one? I mean, which one? You could write a back check. You could use fake money. You could have wire transfer fraud. You could do identity theft. I mean, it is so broad. So you can't, and that's all they do, is these people that are in the mainstream or on the left, is that, oh, he broke finance laws, campaign finance laws. Which one? Which one?
Wrong.
Explain to me.
Let me explain it to you.
Tell me what I'm
Let me
getting
explain
wrong.
it to you.
Tell me what I'm getting wrong. When you're
Campaign
spending
finance law will
$130,000.
I'll explain.
Go ahead.
I get it, because you're saying that there are limits to the campaign contributions somebody could make, and this has exceeded them, and then they hit it. I understand. That's his theory. However, this has been wrong from the start.
Yeah.
It does not amount to a campaign contribution if it is the kind of payment that could ever be made outside of the campaign
That's not the
context.
standard. The standard is
Yes, it is.
substantially. It's not. It's substantiality.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
You're wrong.
Okay.
No, it's
well,
not.
I guess we're going to
You're
have to
wrong.
agree to
There's been Supreme Court
disagree.
precedent on this.
And
Talk to
yes,
Brad Smith,
there's
who was the
been- there's been
FEC
court after
commissioner.
court
You're
that
wrong.
the standard
You're
is
wrong.
substantiality. All right.
Wrong.
We'll have to agree to disagree on that. But let's talk about the judge.
Yeah, so that's the first part there. And as you noticed, she was trying to cite for him Supreme Court laws that already set this precedent here that this is not illegal. And this is the argument that they're making, if you're not understanding, is that what they're trying to say is Donald Trump used money to pay Stormy Daniels. He used personal money to pay Stormy Daniels, which these prosecutors are saying that payment was to protect his image for his campaign. Therefore, it's so crazy. He should have used campaign funds for that, which on the other hand, if he had used campaign funds to pay Stormy Daniels, on the other end, they could have said he used campaign funds for personal expenses. It was like, it's damned if you do, damned if you don't. But once again, like she said, we're going to watch a clip here that breaks it down even further, is that it's not illegal for Donald Trump to pay Stormy Daniels hush money, because he would have already probably done that whether he was running for president or not, or whether he was on a campaign. That's what celebrities do. That's what public figures do. They have people come at them and try to bribe them and extort them and say, blackmail them and say, hey, I'm going to go tell the world, I'm going to go tell the media, I'm going to go tell everybody what me and you did if you don't pay me. So for people like Trump, that is a normal expense that you would make outside of a campaign. But what these prosecutors is arguing is that, no, that was actually done to protect his campaign, but he marked it as a legal expense, a personal legal expense, when he should have marked it as a campaign expense. Absolutely nonsensical. Because either way, he was damned if he did or damned if he didn't, because they would have still came at him and said, whoa, why did you use your personal funds to shut Stormy Daniels up? Or why didn't you not use campaign funds to shut Stormy up? There was no winning for this guy. And that's how you know this is politically motivated, is that they railroaded him. There was no way out for him. Either way, he was screwed regardless. And that's how you know this is corrupt. But let's watch this second clip here that's going to dive deeper into these Supreme Court cases that have already set the standard for this. And Liberal Hive Mind did a great breakdown of this video. So if you guys want to watch his full video, this is his channel here at the bottom. If you can see, it says Liberal Hive Mind. But we're going to watch this a few minutes of his breakdown using the Supreme Court cases. Let's get into it.
Absolutely not correct on every level. And she brought up a very interesting point. There's apparently legal precedent suggesting that an expenditure could not amount to a campaign contribution if it is the type of payment that could ever be made outside of the context of actually campaigning. And obviously, if you're a public figure, if you're a celebrity, if you're somebody like Donald Trump, well, the hush money payment obviously probably would have happened regardless of whether or not he was running for office. If you're a public figure and somebody is threatening to go public with a story that would publicly ruin your reputation, damage your ability to continue doing your job as a public figure and entertainer, well, then you're probably going to take the NDA route and try to pay your way out of that situation. Trump's team could possibly argue that the payment itself cannot possibly be considered a campaign contribution. And there are actually some legal arguments to be made based on legal precedent. Here's some legal analysis that I uncovered. Firstly, Trump could make a First Amendment rights argument. The argument would be that the payments were made to protect Trump's reputation and avoid public embarrassment, not to influence the election. Therefore, these payments are a form of protected speech under the First Amendment. The legal precedent for that claim comes under Buckley versus Vallejo, 424 U.S. 1, 1976. The Supreme Court held that expenditure limits in the Federal Election Campaigns Act of 1971 violated the First Amendment. The ruling emphasized that political spending is a form of protected speech. Then we have an intent and mens rea argument. For a conviction under campaign finance laws, the prosecution must prove that Donald Trump had the specific intent to influence the election. If the payments were made for personal reasons, such as avoiding embarrassment, this specific intent isn't present. We've got United States versus Pomerenning, a case that emphasized the necessity of proving specific intent for criminal liability. And then we've got McCormick versus United States. From 1991, the Supreme Court held that a public official's acceptance of money does not constitute a violation of the Hobbs Act unless there is a clear quid pro quo arrangement. The principle of requiring clear intent can be analogized to Trump's situation. He's not the one who signed the checks. He's not the one who listed the expenditure as legal services or legal expenses. He's not even the one who came up with the idea. It was all Michael Cohen from his perspective. He's a public businessman, a public figure, and he's got an individual who essentially is coming out saying that she's going to spill the beans about their alleged affair. He had a personal interest to make that issue go away. The argument can very easily be made that that's a personal expenditure rather than a campaign expenditure. What was the thought at the time? The word willfully within the world of law has a very specific meaning. Did Donald Trump willfully break a campaign finance law, or is he just a public figure who paid hush money to somebody who was extorting him? How do you prove that intent? Because proving that intent is supposedly what turns this thing into a misdemeanor charge. Paying hush money, I mean, that's not even a crime. That intent is what supposedly turns this whole thing into a felony. The question is, have they proved intent beyond a reasonable doubt? Absolutely not. It's a concocted legal scam, a twisting of the law to take a felony and make it stick. There are holes all over this case. Did they prove the intent? Has the statute of limitations run its course? Does Alvin Bragg even have jurisdiction as a state-level prosecutor to be bringing this federal case? Does the New York legal system get to decide who runs for president? Do they get to decide based on their own local laws that they twist and manipulate to pretend as if a federal crime was committed? Do they get to dictate for the rest of the nation who gets to run for president and who doesn't, because they'll just basically throw whoever they're up against? Does New York just get to do that? Appeals season just got started. We'll have to see exactly what happens. This thing ain't over yet, not by a long shot. Anyways, that's pretty much...
Yep, there you have it. I thought that was such a great breakdown from the liberal hive mind. Let me show you guys his channel if you guys want to go check him out. Great content creator. But yeah, I mean, there you have it. There you have it. This is why I believe that this will be overturned, and Trump is not a convicted felon anymore. But the funny part is that they're going to try to sentence him before the RNC, and so he doesn't get nominated and try to get in the way before, you know, the appeal process starts. Interesting. But once again, when you dive deeper and when you actually talk to people that are on the left, they usually are speaking in broad terms, generalities. When you talk to and listen to folks that are on the right, or, you know, that are Republican or conservative, whatever you want to label them as, they will break it down like this. Megyn Kelly, liberal hive mind, they'll bring up cases, have, you know, evidence to back what they believe. and this is why I brought this, is that this is why I believe that this is going to get overturned. The conviction will no longer stand, especially if it makes it all the way to the Supreme Court, because the Supreme Court has already ruled on this. It's going to be so easy for them to say, you know what, look, the decision has already been made on situations like this, and that's what we're going to stick with. So there you have it, guys. Let me know what you think. Do you think the conviction will be overturned or not? Let's talk about it in the comment section. But of course, if you enjoy the content, hit the like button down below. And if you want more videos, hit the subscribe button with the notification bell so you get reminded every time I bring a brand new video. Thank you for being here, guys. See you on the next one. Peace.